Hello, hello, hello. I'm back. You know what? I forgot to check my microphone before we came on here today. But we are in business. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It is your girl, Saran. I'm back in the building. I want to first say thank you to everybody for your prayers because you know that flu that was going around had me down for the count. I didn't even have a voice. But I'm back. I'm here. I got some information for you. I got some tools you can use, some tips and some tricks. And I'm going to begin a series today where we're going to talk about some nitty gritty ways and some strategies that you can take control of your finances ASAP. So before I get into that, I want to welcome you to the Unblocking Your Path to Wealth podcast, where we get into the mindset, the strategy, and the ways that you can unblock your path to wealth, where you can create a strategy to go from chaos to calm with your finances. Chaos being can't handle any obstacle sent, and calm being a place of control, abundance creation, legacy creation, and money mastery. I'm your host, Saran Baker. I am a financial professional. I've been in the industry nearly 10 years, empowering women with their money so that they can have more life in their money and less stress. So if you're here, drop a fireball in the chat so I know that you're here live with me. Say your name in the chat. Be sure to do this for me. If I ever ask you to do anything, click like, click share, tag your friends, get some people on so that they can hear this information and we can be on the same page. I'm going to check one thing on my Facebook page. I got to make sure that it's public. And then we will go into it. All right, public. So they should be able to hear us. Hopefully, if you are on Instagram, you can hear me. You can see me. I think I hit the button, but I'm here. And today we're going to talk about some strategies that women can use with their finances. And you're probably like, women, just women, you're leaving me out. Oh my God. Don't worry. Just hang with me. I got you. I got you. So here's the thing. I've talked to so many people over the last few weeks. We've had major changes in the United States since our administration has changed. And what I want to say to many of you is this. I see you, I feel you, I understand your stress, I understand your concern, I understand that you are not quite, there are things that you were certain about before that you may be uncertain about now. But what I want to challenge you to do is this, is take a deep breath and think about what your opportunities are. And I get it. This is tough because thousands of people have lost their jobs. Thousands of people are uncertain about their work. Many people don't know. Let me that's my reminder for the podcast. Many people don't know if they're coming or going, but I want to challenge you to get centered and get to a place where you can ask yourself, what are my opportunities? And for some people, it could be writing the book you always said you were going to write. It could be starting a podcast because you said you were going to start a podcast. It could be starting a business. You could be, I'll just use my name, Baker. You could be somebody who likes to bake and you want to sell those things. You could be an herbalist and you make home remedies. And now maybe you can make some videos and share them and start to make a little bit of money on the side. The thing is that, Will Smith said, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And now is the time, especially if you're not experiencing any challenges right now, other than the stress of the news or things that are coming at you that you may feel uncomfortable about, uncertain, or sad about, is what can you be doing to get ready? I know a lot of single women who have homes and nope, you live by yourself, but you got 3 empty rooms. Is there a way you can think about maybe monetizing that temporarily, or at least getting licensed in your city if it requires a license, and getting things set up that maybe you can participate in some of the remote programs where professionals can come in and use your space, and these are just ideas. I just want to stretch you to think about how can you level up during this time? Is it time for you to learn how to trade stocks? Is it? I know it's my time. I've been a buy and hold girl for a long time. But I'm thinking, well, you know what? I need to go in on my options trading to see how I can make money. Because here's the thing, there are people making a lot of money, and you need to decide if you want to be one of them. And it's not all about the hard labor that we do, that we think we have to do. It's not about even getting more education or degrees, because those cost money. Sometimes it's just about taking action on what you already know and going in all full force. So, those are my words of encouragement for today, because I know that we all need comfort, we need care, we need to know that we can be in a space where our money is secure, because for many of us, the lack of money creates a level of chaos that we just cannot explain. It creates insecurity, and it could have, serious financial implications, and including potential losing homes, cars, all the things, right? But what can you be doing to buffer yourself right now is the question that you want to ask. I challenge you to get away from the why me, why is this happening? Oh my God, when is this going to end? And really shift the conversation with yourself and say, what are my opportunities? What can I be grateful for? What can I be doing to level up? How can I insulate my family? How can I create a way that I know I'll be okay over the time period, no matter what happens? And just being prepared. Now, don't get me wrong, life is life. You really can only prepare for 90% of whatever you're preparing for, because the other 10% is just up to Murphy's Law, the things that are totally out of your control. So I'm only talking about the things that are in your control. And if you refer back to many of my other videos, I've talked to you time and time after again to just remind you that money is energy. And if you're scared, and if you're terrified, and you are pulling in a lot of negative energy, you are going to attract that in your money too. So I challenge you to shift it, to think about it in a different way. Some of my friends will tell you, listen, get grounded, go outside, walk in the grass if it's not too cold. Do something to connect with nature. Go outside, take 10 deep breaths if that's what you need. Smell the air. Now, if you're in the city, you're in New York, it might be a little fog. Might be, who knows what's going on up there in the air, what they spraying. But get some deep breaths in, maybe take a long, deep shower. And as you take the shower, think about anything that's stressing you, just washing away and draining through the shower as you go through that process. So, find friends who are going to support you, who are going to encourage you, who are going to speak positive to you, because we all need someone speaking positive to us. Even your most positive friend who speaks positive to you needs someone to speak positive to them. So, and maybe cut back on news a little bit. But people don't listen to me when I say that, because I'm not a news watcher anyway. I go get the news that I want. I go seek it. So it's not being fed to me. But find a way that you can control what you're consuming. So tonight's topic is for the ladies. The secret of financial security. Every Black woman needs this type of policy. And the reason that we all need this type of policy is because it's going to do a lot of different things for you. And after I wrote this video, I realized I'm probably going to have to do this in multiple parts, because there's no way I'm going to be able to get through and give you, some strong information that's going to allow you to feel confident about what I'm about to tell you. So I call this my little 5-minute lesson on life insurance. And so if you don't know anything about life insurance, or if you think you know about life insurance, today I'm going to teach you something about life insurance that you may have thought you already knew, but I'm going to give you a different perspective. So let's go with it. So one of the things that I like to tell people when I talk to them about life insurance, first I like to ask people, what is it that you think that it does for you, and how do you think you can use it while you're alive? And many people don't really have the answer to that because so many of us have in life only known about it to be used for burial policies. And so today I'm going to tell you why so many people use it as a tax advantage vehicle and how you can start to apply that to your life. And more importantly, if you need me to design one for you, you can get into the chat and book some time with me because everyone who is talking about life insurance and IULs and be the bank, they're not all doing the same things, right? I'm mentored under some really strong, smart, amazing coaches in the industry and brokerage firms. And as a matter of fact, one of my coaches is coming on a couple weeks ago. A couple months ago, I had the president of my agency on, one of my brokerages on. And so it's important for us to think about it in these terms. So here's some basics, right? What is the deal with life insurance anyway? Most people think it has two different ways you can look at it, right? It's going to have a death benefit, but the piece that we all need to be thinking about is the cash value that can be available. And here's why the cash value is important because that cash value, once it goes into a life insurance policy, is no longer taxable. It doesn't count as income anywhere, according to the IRS laws. And you can look it up, IRS code 7702. And you can have unlimited access to it through policy loans through your insurance carrier that you that give you unstructured loan payments, which means that you can pay it back however you decide to pay it back, or you can allow it to do what we call self-complete. That means when you transition to the upper room, that whatever loan you have just subtracts from whatever death benefit you have. Now, it sometimes gets a bad rap because there are people who say that the gains that happen in the cash value policy aren't as high as if you put them in the market. And then that some people say, oh, it collects too much money and you don't get enough value. There's a whole bunch of that stuff, right? And I say that because I hear you thinking it. But here's the deal. One of the things that I talk to my clients about, and many of my colleagues who I've introduced you to, we show people how to use it to leverage it now so that you are not only putting the cash value in and earning the interest rate that the policy is going to give you between, I think it's like 4 and 6% right now, or 2 and 4%. I got the numbers transposed, but it's going to get 4 and 6% that you're going to earn. But now you take out that loan and then you go and do your stocks, or then you go and buy your real estate, or then you go and get your Airbnb, or then you go and start your Turo business, or then you go and I see my good friend Dumas in the chat. Then you go buy your cigar bar in West Virginia and invite everybody to come and do stuff, right? And so it gives you some flexibility because now you've created a space where you can borrow from it and pay it back on your own terms. And how does that happen? How does that work technically? The insurance company gives you the ability to do what we call either minimum payments on the policy, or you can do maximum, right? And minimum is really considered a term policy where you're really just getting a death benefit. You can get a huge death benefit and it'll provide you with the coverage when you die. It won't provide as many living benefits, and we won't get into some of the riders. We're just going to talk about cash value today. And then there's a maximum cash value that maximum you can go to, which is determined by the government because they have a ceiling which you have to have a certain amount of life insurance built in before you put in so much cash. Why? Because the rich people with a gazillion $1 million were taking their money and dumping it all into insurance because of some of the benefits I told you about, earlier, and then not having to pay tax on it. So there has to be a certain mix of life insurance and cash value for you not to be pushed into a typical qualified like retirement plan tax rules. But as long as you stay out of that, which is what we call a modified endowment contract, as long as you stay out of it, the cash value has so many benefits to you as the owner of the policy and the insured of the policy. You're going to have tax-free distribution. You're going to have some tax deferred growth. It's going to be a competitive return. You're going to be able to do high contributions. I have clients who are contributing to cash value policies $1,000 a month, $15,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $5,000 a month, based on what their goals are and where they're trying to go. You're going to have some additional benefits that goes into the living benefit riders, and I'll talk about that in a later video. It's going to be the collateral opportunities, and the collateral opportunities is where you're literally borrowing from your policy, from the insurance company, to use the money while you're alive to do whatever you want, right? And I'll give you an example in a second. It's going to be safe because there's no risk involved, because life insurance companies can't play around with your death benefit. So they got to pay it. And so they have everything structured where you're going to be there. There's going to be no loss. You're going to be guaranteed a loan option as long as you have cash value available. I don't know where you get a guaranteed loan from. And here's the catch. And if you're watching me live, I see a bunch of y'all. When you go to the bank to get a loan, what do they ask you for? What is the first thing the bank asks you for when you go to get a loan? And I see you on Instagram. You can put it in the chat too. See you, Yolanda. Ari, I see you, cousin. Kamisha, I see you, Kevin. What Pretty X Gritty? What does the bank ask you for when you go to get a loan? They ask you what your credit score is, right? They ask you how much money you're making. They ask you how you're going to pay it back. They basically go through your whole life story before they loan you the money. Well, it's not the same when you have a cash value policy. Collateral, that's correct. It's not the same when you have a cash value policy. And depending on the type of loan you're getting, believe it or not, some business loans now require you to also get life insurance to guarantee the loan that you took out in case you pass away before the loan is paid. So why don't you just borrow from your own policy, right? The unstructured loan payments are amazing, but you get liquidity, use, and control. We hear people talk about, oh, I want to be able to just cash my money out, use it. I want to be in control. And really, in a lot of places, they tell you you're in control, but you're not in control. You really have to go by what rules they are, especially when you think about those of us who have worked full time for governments or corporations, and you have the retirement plan with them. Did you know we're putting our money in there and we have absolutely no control over it until we go to withdraw it? Other than we make some decisions on how it's invested, but you can't even take it out without a penalty, because once you put it in there, it's theirs until it's time, until they tell you you're 59 and a half and you can do something with it, right? So I say all that to say it's important. One of the things that I shared with some people recently, there was a time, and I've talked about this in a few other videos, I had gotten laid off from my job many years ago. And this is my cash value story. And I promise you it's true. I had gotten this policy and I was maybe 26 years old, because it was the same time I had bought my house. And actually a family member came by and said, hey, you bought a house, you need a life insurance policy so that, just in case something happens, you pay the house off. She told me a bunch of stuff. I don't remember half of the stuff she told me at that time. Right. And she told me a bunch of stuff. And I said, all right, well, how much is it? And I paid the bill, and I just paid the bill faithfully for maybe 10 years or however long it was. And I can remember, and if you ever lost your job before, and you ever been unemployed for a long time, and you're like at the end of your money, so to speak, but you got a new job that you're starting, but you need that little bit of money to get over that hump of that, all right, I'm going from unemployed to starting a new job. And I can remember the insurance company took out the premium that month, and hey, Charles, and they took out the premium that month, and I called them to cuss them out. And I wanted my $100 premium or $80 premium, or whatever it was at the time. I wanted my money back because I was going to cancel this policy. I didn't need this no more. I'm just going to live forever, right? And the lady said, what do you mean? I said, I'm not working. I can't afford to pay this. She's like, ma'am, you got almost $7,000 in here, or whatever amount it was. It was thousands of dollars. And I was like, what are you talking about? I have thousands of dollars. What do you mean? She said, you have built up this cash value in your policy that you can have access to. I said, well, how do I access it? She said, well, is this your bank last 4 digits. I said, yeah. She said, would you like me to send it there? I was like, what's the catch? Do you need my credit? Because my credit's jacked up. I lost my job. She was like, no, I'll just send it to your account. It'll be there in 48 hours. You decide how you want to pay the loan back. And I just took a deep breath and I said, so you mean I've been suffering for the last 2 months trying to rob Peter to pay Paul to figure it out, and I had all the money I needed stored in an account I forgot about because I was just being a good steward with my finances for years and years and making sure that all my obligations were met and the money was where it needed to be. And here's the blessing. It came to me, but that began my journey to go and find out more about it so I could teach more people about the power of it. Because my story was a small amount. I hadn't even contributed, a lot of money. I mean, you think $100 a month, that's money, but it's not a lot of money. But still, now in the future, I have extra money. Now, had I known that the money was there, I would have been able to take it out and, take the loan sooner and invest it. But it was where it needed to be when I needed it. But now, with all the advancements in what we do and how we do it, we can show you how to not only do that, but allow you to be able to leverage it right away, be able to put yourself in a position so that you can grow it, so that you can move forward however you see fit, and provide a level of protection for you in the event that something happens, because this really is a get prepared before you have to get prepared season of life. So that's what I want to say. So just a reminder, there's a minimum amount that you can pay for any given amount of life insurance or coverage, right? There's a maximum amount that you can pay and for the same amount of coverage. But the minimum is determined by the insurance company. The maximum is determined by the government because they're regulating it. They regulate everything, right? But there's infinite product designs. And that's why I say when you hear other people talking about it, and I'm guilty, I got a bunch of videos out there too talking about different things, but there's infinite designs. Then the idea is to get the design that resonates with you and your goals and where you want to go, right? This is something that, they passed many laws in the 80s and 90s, and they may or may not change. They may or may not change the laws in the next few years. And so you really want to get in a place where you're able to find out, one, if you're eligible, two, to get yourself in a place where you can lock in and get yourself on the path to creating the place you want to be. There's a lot of different things that you can look at as far as similarities between other accounts. And I'll get into that probably in another video. But finding out what makes sense for you is going to be the key over the next couple of months, and just getting yourself in the right headspace and getting yourself in a place where you're putting protection in place, where you're putting in a foundation that things can, in case Murphy's Law comes in, you can be protected from all different things. And I'll go into some of the other living benefits as I continue to do this series over the next couple of weeks. But really, it is about figuring out a way that you can leverage this, right? And I have friends and clients who are using these same strategic accounts, these same strategic policies that I'm telling you about today. My friend Lonzie in Texas is using it to run his Toro business. Shayna is using it to trade. My friend Shayna is using it to trade stocks. My girl, Coach Rosie, she's using it to be the bank, and she's literally writing her own mortgage notes and doing rent to own real estate with it. I have friends that are buying Airbnbs in different places and using the cash and not having to go to a bank to do Airbnbs. These are all ways that you can learn to leverage it and use it, and you'll have access to that through potentially working with me. Now you can go ahead, and I'll put the link in my show notes. Sorry guys, this is a ladies only group. You can join my group of ladies only on Unblocking Your Path to Wealth. Don't worry guys, you can just set up a meeting with me if you want to get some help. But we can get you to the place where you can be able to leverage a tool that really is overlooked, underused, and not leveraged enough, especially by my fellow Black women, by you all who are making the big moves. You got PhDs, you're making six figures, you're making double six figures. You're doing all the things, but we're not mastering the financial tools because somehow, somewhere, we didn't get the rest of the financial lesson. We know how to go to work, we know how to get our pays bill, get our bills paid. We know how to buy houses and cars and things like that. Now let's make the money grow. And that's where I come in, and that's where I work with women like you and men to get the things done. Hey, hey Valerie, that's my girl, Miss Self Development on Instagram. She's in Jersey. Oh, and she's an amazing real estate agent in Jersey too. And she also does financial literacy and financial impact, just like I do. And my girl, Big Facts with Carmen. She was my co-host on Millionaire Lady Smile. So shout out to you too. And this is the time. There's no time like now to really make a move, to put yourself in a place where you're going to be good, generations are going to be good, and that you can do what you need to do. So keep in mind that I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. I'll be back next week, same time, same bat channel, 8:30 p.m. Hey, Back to Life. And this is the time, ladies, to take control. This is the time for you to take control of your finances. This is the time for you to stop being scared about something you don't know about and reach out to the community. I have hundreds of friends that are melanated and non-melanated who do this in the industry, and we want to make sure that everybody is in a great place. And so be sure to reach out. And actually, you know what, I want to say my girl, but that's my aunt Regina in New York. She's running New York. She does the same thing in New York, right? And so you can reach out to her. She's in the chat on YouTube. But we want to make sure that you're getting this information, but not just getting it, but you're taking action and you're securing it. And if you're saying there's big dreams you want to do, we're going to show you a way that you can fund it through using your own money and preparing now for the future you that really needs you to step up right now and prepare. Because best believe this one thing: no matter what the news is telling you, no matter what the doom and gloom is that we're receiving, or any craziness that's coming across, for all the changes that may or may not be beneficial, we don't know, right? There's going to be a lot of millionaires made in the next 2 to 4 years, and you have to decide if you're going to be one of them. Let that sink in. So if you're going to be one of them, put me in the chat. If you want to meet with me, put me in the chat. But you want to make sure that you get in a place where you get good. So that's all I have today. Be sure to like, share, and follow. Go hit me up on Instagram. The Real Saran Baker on Instagram. You can hit me up on TikTok. Saran Baker, I think. I don't know. I now on TikTok, I just post a whole bunch of stuff. You might get an herbal video on there, but I do post financial stuff on TikTok. Hit me up on Facebook or just shoot me a text. But the time is now. I'll be back again Monday, if not sooner, with more parts of this series where we go into detail. And I'm going to be launching a live webinar on the first Sunday of April. I don't have the date in my head. On the first Sunday of April, what we're going to do it, we can do a deep dive. I'll show you some slides so you can see things real time and you can understand what's going on, and you can talk to me directly on how it applies to you. So if you want to go to the webinar, drop webinar in the chat. Instagram, shoot me a DM, because once I stop this live, it'll all disappear. But shoot me a DM and say webinar if you want to come to the webinar, and the webinar is open to anyone who wants to participate. So it's your girl Saran. I'm here. I didn't give y'all an affirmation today. I totally forgot. But you know what? I got one right here. One of mine. Look, I keep affirmations on deck, right? I'll give you one of mine. So this week's affirmation is: every challenge is an opportunity to grow, and I trust myself to navigate life with resilience, courage, and peace. I am safe, I am strong, and I am in control of my energy. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow, and I trust myself to navigate life with resilience, courage, and peace. I am safe, I am strong, and I am in control of my energy. And that is this week's affirmation. I see you, Olivia webinar. I see you, Dumas webinar. I'll shoot y'all a text. I actually have y'all's phone numbers. But again, see you next week. Peace, love, and light. Let's get your money right. Bye.